The Bureau.
Good day, Nampa Fire Department. I'm Chief Johnson, and today we're going to talk a little bit about smoke detectors and introduce our training program. I want to start with a little history of the program. It started in the late 90s, and we started by going door to door and offering the smoke detector program throughout neighborhoods that were identified as high risk. And during that time, we installed hundreds of detectors. And the program was quite successful at the time, and we've had some verified saves. And it has, over the years, changed a little bit to where now all we're doing is maintaining the program. So we replace detectors on request, we replace batteries, and just offer some good customer service. The program today is changing a little bit. Through COVID, we had to change our practices as well as some challenges from the state with our ability to install hardwired smoke detectors. Through legislation, we've been able to get that resolved. And for the last couple of years, Mark Strom has been maintaining the program while we work on the requirements to roll this back out to the crews. So the legislation requires that we offer up some safety training, and I'm going to pass it over to Mark to walk through the safety procedures with you. And I just want to say I really appreciate your willingness to participate in the program. And moving forward, we're going to schedule these through the office. They'll be scheduled by district, and we're going to limit the number of detectors that are scheduled per day so that you're not overloaded with them. But we can't support it with just Mark any further. It's just too much work for one guy. So we're hoping for your support in continuing the program. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Like Chief Johnson was saying, this is a little bit of a training video for our smoke detector program. This smoke detector assistance program is an important part of our mission, and I've been proud to be able to keep it going for the past couple of years. Like Chief Johnson said, I've got other duties I've got to attend to. So I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. I know most of you know how to change smoke detectors. We've been doing it for years. Station 4, I did about 1 billion of them. Some things have changed though in regards to how we do hardwired detectors. I'm going to start with the detectors that we've been purchasing. The good news is they're 10-year battery backup, so that when we do determine that we have to change out smoke detectors, oftentimes we can put in the 10-year battery backup and wait for the young kids that just started to change them in 10 years. But let's talk a minute about what makes that determination. This smoke detector assistance program is donation and grant-based, and it's a program designed for people that are on fixed incomes and can't afford to take care of their own smoke detectors. It comes into play when we find homes that don't have smoke detectors, and we can tell that people are probably not in a financial situation that they can provide their own. And we do get a lot of calls. Those calls are coming into the office and they're being scheduled through the office. The way I've been doing it for the past couple of years is twice a week. So anyway, the office staff has a screening process so that we don't end up, they let the people calling know that this is a program designed for financially strapped people. So hopefully by the time we get there, we're serving a segment of our community that needs our assistance. And you can explain that to these folks when you're there. So what constitutes the need to change detectors? The manufacturers recommend that the smoke detectors are changed out every 10 years. So if you go to a house and it's just a battery change, and you recognize that these detectors are over 10 years old, you can go one of two directions. If they're way over 10 years old and they've been given the homeowner some trouble, then you can just offer to change those out. And again, having the discussion about it's a grant and donation based program. But if they're only a year or two past due, what I've been doing is just explaining to people that these detectors need to be changed, and here's where you can get them, and when you get them, we can come in and change them out for you. And I always like to recommend that they get the same brand that they had before. That way it's the same connection, and there's not the whole rigmarole of going through the wiring, which is the main course of what we're going to talk about today. So there's the program in a nutshell. So let's talk about the wiring. So with these detectors, you get some adapters. And these adapters adapt to several different styles of pigtails that are already going to be in the ceiling so that we can plug into our detectors. And that's just another route to eliminate having to do wiring. But if we do get into a situation where we've got to change the pigtail out, the important thing that is different now than was in the past is we need to shut the power down. And that means going to the breaker box, finding the breaker box, and hopefully finding a breaker, and there'll be a video associated with this video that talks about that. But hopefully finding a breaker labeled smoke detectors. More often than not, you're not gonna. So you'll have to just do trial and error. You'll shut off a breaker. Okay, so this tester is powered by two AA batteries. It's got a power button here to turn it on. And when you want to test for whether or not you have power to your pigtail, you'll touch the hot wire, the black one. If it has electricity to it, it will buzz, okay? And then if it buzzes and it's hot, you've got to go back to your breaker panel and try a different breaker. What we found is oftentimes it's bedrooms or hallway breakers. So anyway, this is your hot wire. This is your communicator wire that runs from one detector to the other, and this is your common. So once you get the power off, then you go through the process of removing the wire nuts and replacing the pigtail. In my kit, which is right here, I have a little box, and I'm going to get you guys set up with a bunch of different wire nuts. We're required to change out the wire nuts when we take then undo the wiring, which is why I'm making an effort to get detectors for you guys that have the adapters. So that's about the long and short of it. There's the paperwork that we've always had, the smoke alarm agreement form. You'll have your customer sign that, and then there's the American Red Cross form, and we want to get that filled out and signed as well. The Red Cross appreciates getting these, and we appreciate getting them to the Red Cross because they do provide grants for our program. Okay, so the first step in this process is to remove the detector and take a look at the manufacture date to see if the detector needs to be replaced. Also, you need to look and see if the plug-in adapter matches, or you can use an adapter. If you do need to change the pigtail, then the next step is to secure the power.
Okay, we want to locate the appropriate breaker. So there's not one that says it's for smoke detectors. So we'll look for master bedroom because that's where this smoke detector is, so number 13. So we'll go ahead and turn that off. 13 is off now. And now we'll go in and test the powers this way. Okay, so before we disconnect any wires, we want to test now that our power is cut. And we use this little touch detector that we'll get for everything. Okay, that wasn't it. So now we're going to try kitchen plugs, number 5. Okay, after some troubleshooting, we found out that it was tied to the master bedroom. So we have no green light, and the tester is testing negative for power. Great. Detector is now safe. Changed.
Okay, so now that the power's been secured, we can replace the old pigtail with the new one with new wire nuts. Carefully replace the wires into the box. Replace the bracket. Install the new smoke detector.
Ready?
Master.
Now that we've changed it, we can restore power. Okay, now that we've restored power, you can see there's a green light on the detector indicating that it has AC power and is operating.
And finally, push to test to make sure that all the detectors are working. Howdy, y'all. I'm sorry, I can't even